Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a Get Ready With Me. I literally just need to get ready for the day. It's an exciting day for me because I am off childless. My mother-in-law is here with her sister and she's gonna take care of the kids for the day. They are gonna take care of the kids for the day so that I can have the time off for myself because I am soon going to back to work, and that is freaking me out. But they offered to give me a day off, let's say, and I took it very gladly because if someone offers help, I learned with having small children, you just say yes. And in this specific Get Ready With Me, I also wanted to discuss a little bit what I touched on in my quarterly video, where I discussed that I am thinking of having a corrective surgery to kind of correct a little bit what is left over from my pregnancy with the twins. Now this is, I know, is not for everybody, and it is also not, I don't know, it's a bit of a polarizing subject, depending on who you talk to. Some people are for body acceptance and just learn to love the body that you have. And some people are for do what you need to do to feel good about yourself. And I think it is extremely personal, and I would never dare to tell someone what they should feel about it. And I would also like you to respect that if you're watching this video. It is my choice. I actually still don't know if I'm gonna do it or not, but I thought it would have been a nice moment to talk about it, since a few of you guys in the comments of the video had told me, yeah, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and what's happening and things like that. So maybe to start with, a twin pregnancy is one of the, I don't know, biggest changes to your body that can happen, I guess. I was very, very big with the twins, and it is one of the leading reasons for women to have a permanent diastasis. A diastasis is when a gap happens in between your abs, and that is, every woman has that when they are pregnant. It's part of the adaptation of the body to growing human beings in it, but you can have it to a various degree. And the idea of your body is that it stretches, the abs open apart to make space for the baby. The part in between, which is called the linea alba, also stretches, but then when you're not pregnant anymore, it will slowly heal and get back together. That is what happens to most women, and usually you don't have big problems because it's a natural process that happens. Some people don't recover from it, so the linea alba never gets smaller again, to various degrees. Usually women, this is all information I got from my physical therapists, by the way. Most women after a pregnancy go back to 1 to 2 centimeters in between the abs. Normal is maybe half a centimeter to 1 centimeter before pregnancy. But there's exceptions to this, of course. I mean, my physio showed me pictures of men with diastasis, and they have nothing to do with pregnancy. It's just the way their body is, or if they lost a lot of weight and things like that. But in my case, my diastasis now, 5 months after giving birth, has reached, or is still, 5 centimeters, which is a pretty big gap in between your abs. And then per se, it's not necessarily that it has to be bad. A lot of women live with a big, with a diastasis of, doesn't matter how many centimeters. The problem is when it gives you symptoms. So you will remain with the gap in between, but your muscles, or you learn to use your muscles differently so that you don't have symptoms. And my problem is that I still feel extremely weak in my core, even after, what is it now? I am working with my physical therapist since 4 weeks postpartum, so 4 months of breathing exercises, rehabilitation exercises, everything that officially you can do to try to improve this. Of course, I'm not like working out a lot every single day. I know that I could have done more, but anyways, that is my situation right now, and I feel extremely weak in my abs, and I have a body shape that I don't recognize. I've always had the top half of my belly area actually quite tight, whereas I always had a little bit, or a little bit. I was always overweight, and I held my fat in the lower part of my belly and on my hips. And now I'm in a situation in which my abs are apart, and I cannot. They cannot keep my stomach contents, the rest of my organs inside, and it is aesthetically not pleasing and a very weird feeling, and not a pleasant one at that. So I have been working with a physical therapist, as I've said, to try to correct that as much as possible. And at 5 months postpartum, you're not completely over all of your hormones and things like that, because that still is going on. You're still getting back to a pre-pregnancy situation. But let's say that 80% or more of the healing and of the recovery has already happened. So they have told me, the different physiotherapists I'm working with, that this will not go away. The difference, the hole between my abs cannot be now healed by exercise or anything. The only thing that I can do is learn to work with it, and for the time being, strengthen my muscles as much as I can. And then from about 1 year postpartum onwards, that's kind of when they tell you the healing process is over, all the hormones of pregnancy have left your body. We're gonna look at how the final situation is, and if there's still problems, there's choices. The choice number 1 is always not do anything. So keep the situation as is. Learn to live with any symptoms that you have. And to be honest with me, the symptoms are very mild compared to what it could be. Like incontinence is one of the symptoms of a weak of a diastasis that is not managed. But also lower back problems, but also digestion problems, a lot of other things. So my symptoms are mild. Doesn't mean that they don't bother me. A very simple thing of my daughter is jumping on the couch and she's falling, and I have to sprint from one side to the other of the room to grab her, or I am sitting on the couch and she starts doing something she's not supposed to, and I have to run to her. For me to move, get up, I have to consciously activate all of my muscles in my stomach to avoid damaging my linea alba even more. And that is not something that you can always do. It's not sustainable for me to always have to think about activating all my muscles in my daily life. When you work out, it's one thing, absolutely, no problem. But in daily life, it's not something you do. It needs to happen naturally. And unfortunately, with such a wide gap and the situation I'm in, it doesn't happen. So the other options are surgical, and that in itself splits in a few ways, in the sense that most tummy tucks or like mom makeovers, or I don't know how they call them, where you work with a plastic surgeon, and what the plastic surgeon does is evaluates your situation from an aesthetic and functional point of view. And if there is a functional problem, so that if the abs are so wide and they have to put them back together, what they do is they take the tissue, they put it back and they stitch it in the middle, the end. That's what a plastic surgeon does. Then they go in and they cut off the excess skin and or fat that you have, depending on your wishes, and sew everything back up. That is one option. The other option is, at least here in the Netherlands, I'm talking for the system that I am in and what I can access. The other option is to work with a combination team of a plastic surgeon and a regular general surgeon. And what the general surgeon will do is insert a grid in between your layers of muscles, I think, or under the muscle, under the abdominal muscles, to reinforce the linea alba and then put them together. But that has an extra layer of strength to help you keep the muscles together and to work against the pressure of the insides coming out, let's say. And that is the job of the general surgeon. And then you would still have the plastic surgeon come in later and finish, in the same operation that is, and finish up with correcting the aesthetic part of the excess skin and fat that you'd like to remove. And these are the things that are in front of me right now. I must say that for me to find out that I had a diastasis that was never going to be able to be corrected by itself was very shocking. Not a pleasant discussion to have, especially because I was very proactive this time with working with a physical therapist immediately or as soon as possible after the birth of my children, after my C-section. And I've been working with a team actually of a physical therapist who is specialized in recovery via exercise and breathing and manual therapy. At the same time, he then referred me for scar massage and scar health to a physical therapist who is specialized in the scar part of a C-section. And we worked together with this team we had to work together with this team for 4 months. And after 4 months, my first physical therapist said, well, he measured by hand, like feeling my diastasis and my stomach and the situation of my abs. And he said, I can only feel, but this does not feel good. So please, if you can you go to this other woman, who is also a physical therapist, and instead she is specialized in the abdominal wall and diastasis and everything around it. So she works, other than by herself, also in a practice in the hospital, where they work with this combination team of a general surgeon and a plastic surgeon to correct abdominal walls abnormalities. And she is always the one who does the assessments before and the recovery after. And she used a echography machine, the same thing that you use when you go for a scan to see your baby, but this time to see, instead of the uterus and the baby, to see my abs and the tissues around them and how they work together. So she had me do exercises, like trying to sit up and moving my legs to see how my muscles worked together and the size of my diastasis. And she said that, yeah, as I told you, there's no really going back or anywhere away from this. Functionally, she sees that my muscles are working underneath, and that indeed, if I engage my muscles every time I move, there is no problem. but she also recognized that if I don't think about it consciously and I just move, that the functionality of the muscles is not there. So I actually end up spilling out of my abdominal wall when I move without consciously doing that. Well, that's a lot of bronzer. Was not the plan. That was not the plan. So that's a bit where I am right now with let's say a diagnosis, or someone who has looked at it and seen how the situation is and what the options are. There is also a very clear message that nothing is going to happen until 1 year. So for the next 6 months, what I should focus on, and what I am focusing on, is to work out and strengthen my abdominal wall as much as possible. So I make it a point to do exercises and mix them in with fun stuff as well. Like, I don't know if any of you have been to a physical therapist, but usually the exercises they give you are the most boring thing in the world. And I mix those in with yoga, with the walks, and once a week I am going to a workout class that has been cleared by my physical therapist that I can go to, where I modify the exercises that I shouldn't be doing so that I don't make my situation worse, but that at least I can go back to doing exercise that I enjoy and not just the one that I have to do for my physical therapy. And after that, I need to decide what to do. Am I going to stay the way it is? Or am I going to have a surgery? Now, I am leaning towards the surgery, and there's 2 reasons for it. The functional one is a little bit the tipping point for me to decide whether to do it or not. But before that, I was already thinking about it just from the aesthetics point of view. If I am brave, I will take a clip of how my body looks right now, but I cannot guarantee it because it's quite a big step. I am currently not happy with the way my body looks. I don't recognize myself anymore. I am the same weight as before the pregnancy, still some 7-8 kilos heavier than before my first pregnancy, but after Andrea and before I got pregnant with the twins, I was not unhappy with how I looked. I knew that if I wanted to, if I would put on the effort to go on a diet and to work out more, I could reach a level with my body that I would be happier, but I wasn't completely unhappy. Like, I could accept the body I was in before before the twins. Now, unfortunately, this is not something that I want. This is not how I want to look like. I have trouble finding clothes that I'm comfortable in leaving the house with. I don't like the way my own clothes sit on my body. Things that I liked to wear before, I don't like the way they look now, and I honestly don't know how to continue if my body stays this way. And this is not a look that can be fixed by exercising or dieting. I have had a lot of stretching due to the twins, and a lot of stretch marks. That means that a lot of my skin is just sagging, and it is not something that is pretty. It's not something that for now, that I don't think I can learn to love, or even just to tolerate. I really don't like looking at myself naked. I don't like anybody looking at me in general, at my body. I don't know, I'm on a hunt to find clothes that make me feel okay. I am following all of these mid-size influencers online, but the way they dress does not appeal to me. Or when I tried some things, different styles, it really didn't look good on me. So I'm in a bit of a difficult spot, I find, with what am I gonna do. And the fact that my diastasis is so wide that it would need surgery to correct really tells me that maybe it's a good moment to also address the aesthetic part and just do it. All in all, it's not a decision that I need to take right now, but it's something that I have been thinking about, and it is also, I don't know, something to really think, because it's still, again, another big abdominal surgery. It is, again, recovery that you have to do while having small children, and that has an impact on my partner and my children. So it's something that I would need to think about a little bit carefully. It's definitely not, or this is what I've been told by other people who have done this. It is not as bad as a C-section in terms of recovery. They don't, it's not as invasive. You don't go through so much damage in your body as with a C-section. So it's an easier recovery than that. And I did not have, both times for my C-sections, I did not have a good experience or like an easy recovery. So I'm not looking forward to having another one of those. This is Editing Alice. The video unfortunately was damaged in the SD card, so I didn't have an outro, but I think I said pretty much everything I needed to say during the video itself, during the Get Ready With Me. There's still a long time before I need to make this decision, and actually I don't think, the more I think about it, I don't think it will happen before my kids, the twins, are able to walk, because, you know, for healing and everything, you're not supposed to lift children or anything for, what is it, 6 weeks after an operation to the abdominal area. So that puts even longer timeline than I was thinking. I was even thinking this winter, coming winter that is, once the babies were 1 year old, but that pushes it out by at least another 6 months to a year. So there's no rush, and we'll see how it goes and if my mind changes in the future. But yeah, this is my story. This is what I'm thinking of and what has been going through my mind. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please be gentle. I am not comfortable enough to show you my belly in this video, and I hope that's okay. Maybe one day if I decide to, you know, make a change, I might take a picture or a video of how it looks before something else happens, or, you know, for now it's not something I want to dwell on too long. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.